sbagliata, messa fuori, c'è Pirlo, ancora Pirlo di tacco, tiro, gol! Grosso, gol di Grosso, manca un minuto, gol di Grosso.
Hello and welcome to the Milan Talk podcast. I'm your host Samit Paul, and ahead of our Europa League tie with Arsenal, I'm delighted to welcome back Jason Brown to the pod. Jace, how you doing?
I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well.
Good man, good man. Right, so a pretty brief look ahead of the games coming up over the next week. We're going to look at it from an Arsenal perspective with Jace on the pod, where Milan can win it, and we'll discuss your Twitter comments. But first, JB, let's start with Arsenal's strengths. I want to kind of get your opinion on where you think your boys can win it, because I think a big thing for me is Aubameyang being ineligible. With Bonucci and Romagnoli not really being blessed with pace, I think that could have been a real problem with him running in behind and causing us a lot of issues. But with him out of the team, who are you looking to make the difference and kind of get you through this tie? Is there anyone in particular, or do you think it's going to be more of a kind of team collective to get the right result for you boys?
Well, to be honest, like the way that we're playing at the minute, I don't see anyone in that team stepping up for this game. But yeah, it's like I agree with you. I mean, Aubameyang is a big miss, and the fact that Lacazette's injured, there's no real kind of experienced out and out strikers that I feel can cause any damage. We've got a young kid, Eddie Nketiah, who's popped up a few times in the League Cup. He's a strong lad. He's doing well for the under-23s, but he's hardly got any experience.
Yeah.
Other than him, we've got Welbeck, who's a bit hit and miss. But I think this is a big game for Danny. Because I assume he'll be starting up front. And, he does have physical presence. And I feel if he can get amongst your boys at the back and use his strength, I think he can possibly cause some issues. He's not the best finisher, but he definitely can be a handful. So really, he's kind of him and Jack Wilshere, I would say, are the two players I'm looking for to kind of step up tomorrow. And if they have decent games, along with Ozil, I think we might be able to at least get a consolation, or I could say a consolation, get a away goal.
Who's going to be out on the right wing for you? Because if I'm looking at it from a Milan perspective, Romagnoli's been in unbelievable form in the last few weeks. He's been just solid at the back for us. Bonucci's playing a massive role next to him. Got Calabria at right back, who seems to be maturing and doing a job for us there. I think if there's one weak point in our back line, it's going to be Ricardo Rodriguez at left back. So is there anyone that's going to be set in stone playing on the right wing for you boys that's going to potentially cause him problems? I
assume it would be Mkhitaryan playing Premier right wing, or he has gone with Ozil there in the past.
Yeah. In
recent weeks, I think Ozil started there against Spurs, but I don't know. I wouldn't say we've got a nailed-on right winger, but yeah, it'll either be Mkhitaryan or Ozil, which is a little bit worrying because Mkhitaryan hasn't really been firing since he joined us, and Ozil's in terrible form at the minute. So, like you say, it could be a good area for us to exploit, but I don't feel we've got the players at the minute to exploit it, to be honest.
Yeah, that is a concern. Well, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, if there is an area that I think we might be vulnerable, then that might be on the right-hand side for you boys, but we'll see. And then switching it over to the other side of it, in terms of weaknesses, where are you most concerned? Because I have to admit, I think Callum Chambers is probably the worst defender I've ever seen in my life. In terms of just him being so vulnerable defensively, and I've never really seen him play a forward pass. I always feel like he's either looking for Mustafi, going back to the goalkeeper, or just giving away possession. So I think we can terrorise him if we target him. You mentioned Welbeck there as well, leading the line. I think, yeah, you're right, strength-wise and a bit of pace and movement could cause us a problem, but not a great deal of goals there. Where are you most concerned? Where do you think we can exploit your weaknesses the most?
I think, our whole entire back line really has been poor in recent weeks, and I agree with you. Callum Chambers, he's not full of confidence at all. I feel he's been let down really by the Arsenal coaching staff, and you see him on the pitch. He doesn't know what to do. Like you say, like should he pass it forward? Should he try and carry it out? But he just seems lost to me. As well, Granit Xhaka, meant to be our holding midfielder, but he does not seem to have a defensive bone in his body. So I think that whole area, that kind of in between our back line and our deep line defender, I think you have plenty of space for your boys to wreak havoc, especially Suso, you know, in that space, being able to just like dictate play and pick out passes and such.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at Suso, Bonaventura and Cianolu really to kind of, like I said, get in those pockets of space and make things happen. So the one thing that I've really noticed about Arsenal in the last few games is just the lack of sort of, I don't know if it's naivety, but just a lack of awareness. You know, when you're attacking, I always see Wilshere and Xhaka halfway up the pitch together at the same time. It's as if they don't realise or recognise the situation around them and you're just completely exposed at the back. Do you see that as a problem on the counter-attack if you do end up dominating possession in periods, that Milan can make it count and make the most of your weaknesses on the counter-attack as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, most teams this year, or probably all teams since the start of the year that have beaten us, have used the counter-attack. You know, a recent game on the weekend against Brighton, you saw, you know, many times like we were attacking and then, you know, 2 passes and they're in our final third and you think, where's our midfield, where's our team? But you can tell, you know, our boys have not been drilled at all. It seems like they're given free rein, and obviously Xhaka and Wilshere don't communicate, and they both, like you say, just end up being caught far up the pitch, and then once the attack breaks down, that's it, we're completely exposed.
Yeah. Do you put that down to Wenger, as in terms of him setting up the team and drilling them tactically, or do you put that down to the players and their responsibility and kind of experience on the pitch to be better, to know better?
I think it's a bit of both, probably more Wenger, because he is the one who's paid, you know, £10 million a year to manage the team.
Yeah.
So if me and you can spot it, I'm sure he can spot it. So he really needs to pull Granit aside and say, you know, when we're attacking, you make sure you're the furthest one back, because that's what you're there to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Unless he's told them he wants to attack, he wants to be on the front foot. But then if that's the case, there should be such a gap between our midfield and defence. Defence should push up high, which we don't do. So, you know, it kind of costs us.
Definitely. So on to the all-important predictions, Jace. For me, I think this is a big stage now for Milan to make a statement in Europe again. We've been missing for a while. You know, Arsenal aren't in the greatest of form. Confidence is low, but I do feel as though it's going to be a big test for us to step up and deliver. I think it all depends on Gattuso's tactics as well. I think if we take the game to you, pile on the pressure with the intensity and pressing, I think, I'm not trying to be big-headed, but I genuinely believe that we can make you crumble in the away leg at San Siro if we kind of really put our foot down. However, I do want to say that I hope we're not overconfident heading into this one. We're, you know, 13 games unbeaten, 6 consecutive clean sheets, so everything's going great, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still improving, and this isn't, again, like I said, it's a big game in Europe that we're not used to, so I hope we can deliver. For me, I think we're going to give ourselves a decent lead in the first leg. Looking for maybe a 2-0 win, and much tougher at the Emirates, but I feel like we're going to go through maybe 3-1 on aggregate, let's say. But I'm confident in my team that we'll do what we have to do to get through to the next round. Do you echo that on your side? Are you confident at all, or how do you see the tie going?
I've got no confidence going into tomorrow's away leg, to be honest. I'm just hoping it's not another 5-1 like Bayern, to be perfectly honest. But I think if we can score, if we can score before, you know, the game gets too far away from us, say, you know, at one, even if we go ahead, I guess, which I don't see happening. But if we're 1-0 down, if we can get it to 1-1 or maybe 2-1, I think we'll maybe keep it there. But if you get 2 or 3, I really do worry for my team. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Milan, and then hopefully maybe if Lacazette's back in time for the second leg, we could probably salvage something.
We shall see, Jace. It all looks very exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Yeah.
On to Twitter comments. We've had a few. Starting with, you're not going to like some of these, Jace. I'll pre-warn you. But Troy Vaughan at Hark the Sound. Can't wait to be responsible for Wenger's sacking. We'll have to wait and see if that's the end result. Do you see that happening, Jace? Is that a genuine possibility? If you go badly wrong for you, and it is a heavy defeat, do you see that being enough to get Wenger sacked, or do you still see him seeing it out to the end of the season?
I think if we get a heavy defeat, I think they'll announce it. I think they've already decided that he's going at the end of the season.
Oh, right.
But I think, like you say, if it's a heavy defeat and there's a big fan uproar, then I think the board will then announce that Wenger will be going. I don't see them sacking him, although I really would like them to. I think it will give the fans a lift. If he was sacked, then say like an ex-player like a Thierry came in just like interim to the end of the season, would just give us something to cheer about. But I don't see that happening. And obviously Wenger won't walk away. But yeah, his time is definitely up. It's whether or not they let us know. But yeah, I think regardless of the result, we could win the Europa League. I still think he's gone, to be honest.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. At the Milanisti 11, I was genuinely worried when I saw the draw. However, having watched them sporadically since, I've realised that we've beaten many better teams in Serie A recently, such as Spal. He did do a crying face emoji with that. It wasn't being serious.
I was going to say.
Far too disrespectful. But then he says, seriously, team spirit can't be high at Arsenal. It's through the roof here. We're also better rested. I think taking the joking aside, the last few points there are crucial. So we'll see if that makes a difference this Thursday and then next week as well. Bori Oludemi at Bori Keynes has a point on Hakan. Am I the only one that notices that Hakan Çalhanoğlu doesn't contribute much to the team? Feels like he's just there to complete the team roster. I don't really see what he contributes. I'm going to have to completely disagree with you on that one, Bori, I'm afraid. I think you could make that argument earlier in the season, Jace. I think we both were very disappointed with Çalhanoğlu, just in terms of not having an impact offensively, but then also just looked off the pace and lacking fitness. But in recent weeks, I think he's been in great form. I think he's adding more to our attacking play, a bit more dynamism, and he's working very, very hard for the team defensively. So unfortunately, Bori, I'll have to disagree with you on that one. I think Hakan's doing a great job. So
I think Gattuso's put the boot up him, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's a great point. I think it's coincided with Gattuso's arrival. So I think he's definitely getting the best out of him, and training seems to be working wonders because he actually looks fully fit now. So
yeah,
very impressed with what I've seen with Çalhanoğlu. So long may that continue. This point is absolutely spot on from at Dan Rossoneri. I couldn't have said it better myself. While Milan is in greater form, Arsenal are a much more experienced team. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Gattuso preaches humility to the players, and as fans, we should be humble too. Jace, I think that's absolutely spot on, isn't it? I know you're not in the greatest of form, but you are still packed with quality individuals. So from a Milan perspective, it's all about not getting ahead of ourselves and making sure we're focused on the job in hand.
Yeah, that is true. The only thing I would say is that our away form this season has been woeful. I think we've only won 3 games away, and the San Siro is probably not the place to turn that away form around. So I think you do definitely have that in your advantage. But I think the tie will be interesting. Like I say, if we're not out of it tomorrow, I wouldn't completely count us out for the return leg. But yeah, I think you're right, that is a spot on point. We still do have the players. It's just whether or not they decide to show up.
Yep, definitely. It is an intriguing one, but we'll see. And then finally, at Samir Mohammed 72, why are the fans taking Arsenal so lightly? Europa League is their only path to the Champions League. They will do their best. Samir says the best and worst Arsenal and prediction. I think we've kind of covered that with our points ahead. So fair play, Samir. I think you should do my notes for me there. Got in there first. And lastly, you wanted this match as the Europa League final. So are you happy or sad getting this match so early? Well spotted there, Samir. Samir's been listening from day one. So he knows that we were desperate for this to be the final. I am sad, Jace. I would have liked this to be the final, with especially with both of us being Milan and Arsenal fans. But I'm still intrigued. I'm still looking forward to it. Very excited. So yeah, it is a bit disappointing. It's come early, but
Yeah.
I suppose no guarantees that we would have made it further into the final anyway. So it's nice to meet each other now and have a competitive game to get stuck into.
Definitely. I think a lot of people want it to be the final. I remember, I don't know which Milan official said it when the draw was made, but, he said it's a shame because it would have, our sentiments exactly would have made a great final.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that we are playing each other. But I think, a one-off game as opposed to two legs would have been a lot more spectacular, I think, and a lot more drama. But
Yeah.
Two legs is always a bit of I don't know the right word, but you're always a little bit nervy, aren't you? Because you don't want the game to get away from you. So it kind of changes the dynamic of the football. But I'm still very excited.
As am I, Jess. As am I. I'm looking forward to these games. So let's see how the first one goes tomorrow night. I think that's a wrap on this one, Jason. Unless you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think we covered it all. Like I say, I'm just hoping Milan go easy on us.
Definitely hoping we don't, Jace. Let's get that big first leg lead and take it back to the Emirates and finish the job. But let's see how it plays out. Good stuff. Follow at Milan Talk 1 on Twitter and Facebook. In the meantime, plenty of coverage before, during and after the game on Thursday and the second leg. Jace, fantastic to have you back on the pod. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Good to be here, man. Yeah, definitely good.
Good, man. But that's it for this one. So nothing left but say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye to the people.